Are we ever really ready? No, the answer is always
Here we
no.
go. Hello, everyone.
Welcome.
This is On the Hunt.
I'm Amy.
And I'm Whitney. And it's another day.
It is another day down. One day closer to some sort of a break from our lives and our jobs and our world.
Happy Thanksgiving, almost. Not quite.
Yeah. When this comes out, it'll be very close.
It will.
Got your Black Friday items circled in your mind, or however you do that. I don't know what people do.
Are you going Black Friday shopping?
Keaton always wants to go.
Yeah.
We go to Target.
I'm
Whatever. They keep it classy at Target,
Target
so I don't
knows
mind.
what's up. Okay, well.
All right. Well, we're not just here to talk about our
Black Friday. Do you have any
plans.
haunted housekeeping, Amy?
Just one little thing I'd like to point out that I'm so stupid, and I knew it when I said it last week when we were talking about Whitney
Becoming a dolphin?
Yes, as her skinwalker of choice. I said, oh, like the movie Mermaid. But no, the movie was Splash.
What a
starring
great
Daryl Hannah as
movie.
Madison the Mermaid. I knew
a great
that.
movie.
It's a great movie. Tom Hanks. Love ya. Oh my God. Have you
He's my
seen the
crush.
Mr. Rogers movie?
Preview?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Looks so good. So,
I love
anyways.
Tom Hanks. Yeah, listening back to me make my own dolphin sounds was painful.
It was hilarious.
It's bad.
Yeah.
But okay. Yeah.
Didn't sound like a dolphin, but that's okay.
Nope, sounded like a sheep. But all right.
Absolutely. Oh, and I once again notice I say actually, and I think it's interesting 1,000,000 times. And you know what? I'm not going to stop.
Yeah, no, so we are.
I just can't help myself.
And
I'm not going to stop making serious faces at you.
I don't know what other words to say when we're talking.
No, because it's actually interesting.
It is.
Okay? That's what we think.
So screw you.
Yeah.
And screw you, troll.
Yeah. We've got a few stickers to get out. Hopefully, maybe by the time this one's released, we've sent those out. So thanks for everybody who gave us some shares and likes. We are officially somebody because we got our first internet troll, everybody. Woo! He's not a good troll. He actually made a point of saying that basically I'm a troll.
So confusing.
I don't think that's how that's supposed to work, but you do you, boo-boo.
Yeah.
And
I'm not
also-
sure how we're lining ourselves up for trolling.
No.
We
troll ourselves, sucker, so joke's on you.
Is it our catchphrase that we're so awkward it's uncomfortable?
No, I think it's just because we put ourselves out there.
Yeah, well, sorry.
And some people can't, leave their own mother's basement, so it's just easier to sit back and make fun of other people. It's
true.
You think there's something you can throw at us we haven't already said about ourselves?
Right.
Clearly, you haven't listened to our podcast.
We make fun of ourselves. It's so much.
So bring it, Kanye.
Ridiculous.
We don't care.
Did you see Kanye West on Joel Osteen? Did I already ask
Yes. You get over yourself, Kanye.
Did you watch it? Oh, God. Go home and watch it.
Well, I watched the little clip they put on Yahoo News.
It is so uncomfortable.
He's the greatest artist God has ever given to us. I mean...
And at one point, someone in the audience says something, and he goes, I'm going to need you to... I'm paraphrasing. I'm going to need you to stop talking because God is speaking through me right now, and you're really... And I was just like, oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
What does Joel Osteen think? What is he standing there like...
He doesn't care. It was just lining his pockets even more.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. But I'm not even go off on a tangent about that.
Anyway,
but come
that
on.
was,
if you're truly
entertainment.
Here for the betterment of mankind, give that money away to people who need it.
This was
entertainment starving orphans in the streets.
Yes.
Joel
Kanye
Osteen.
West, what are you doing?
Real quick, little local news tidbit. This will be kind of old news when it comes out. But so last night was a little scary at my house because there were all sorts of rumors flying around because there were a ton of police officers just down the road from where I live and not too far from where you live. And they were searching for a body and found one. Apparently,
I feel like I'm behind on this.
Oh, no, they found a body.
Oh my gosh.
And they'd have been in the local news that a man had reported his wife missing, and then they got a search warrant or whatever for his house and found that he cleaned up a bunch of blood with bleach and whatnot. So they arrested him for that, and then apparently he finally decided to cooperate with the police and led them to where a rough idea of where he had left her body.
Oh my God.
But at some point there were like rumors going around online that he had escaped from police custody.
So is that true?
No, I don't think it was. But at that time I didn't know if it was true or not. And you don't realize until you're in a situation like that just how you've set yourself and your family up for imminent murder. Like, because I'm suddenly like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Is the shed locked? Because if it's not, the keys are in the car, and I'm pretty sure we have a house key. And then I'm just like I'm like, oh my, how are we not dead? For real.
Right. Well, we have this false sense of security living out here.
Yeah. But anyways, a body was found, and I mean, they haven't made it official that it's the body
That's crazy.
Listen, dickheads of the world. It's called divorce.
Yes.
Like you don't, what?
No. I mean,
what is your end game with
well,
that?
If you're crazy though, you just,
it's never because they're really crazy though. It's because they got like some young girlfriend and
they're clearly psychotic,
the wife or the children or whatever it is. It's just, an inconvenience.
Absolutely.
And no, stop.
Get a divorce.
Yeah. You're going to get caught.
You're gonna get caught.
Putting that out there in the universe. Any of you considering it, you're gonna get caught.
If you've ever
you're
watched
gonna go to prison.
Law and Order, SVU, Mariska Hargitay,
yeah,
Detective Olivia Benson, about to find your ass.
She coming hard. But anyways, it has nothing to do with our podcast. I did just want to say it because it was
interesting,
incredibly close
to home. Don't come to our home.
Which they weren't even from here. They were from the St. Louis region. So all bad omens land in Lincoln County. Oh, I printed out the basketball schedule.
Oh, so we could
pick
Amy.
Oh, God, I just set a manila folder on fire, everyone. That was fun.
We're fine. It's all is fine. I got her back.
Yeah.
I'm Amy's handler. I just follow her and make sure she's safe.
I'm going to get her one of those vests, like little service dogs wear.
Yes. I mean, she will open her manila folder right on top of a lit candle. She don't give a F. She don't give a F. She's a bad bitch. Don't care.
So take it.
Okay.
Now I've got all the fluster, and you probably saw my freaking topic.
I haven't seen your topic.
Because I need to start hiding them up here.
Amy goes
first.
What?
Amy goes if she doesn't burn the house down.
Amy goes first.
Okay.
Okay.
Are we just going to jump in now that my heart has come through my throat?
Okay. Everyone get ready. Oh, gosh.
I am going to be talking about the Amityville case.
Woo-hoo-hoo!
Yeah.
Big one.
I'm sure anyone who is into paranormal or even true crime for that matter.
Did you watch? Is that the documentary you watched then?
Well, I didn't watch it. I've seen multiple documentaries about the murders, but I'm not really going to talk about those too much because one, we're not a true crime podcast, and two, I'm not giving a murderer any credit for anything other than being a piece of crap.
Yes, for sure.
So I am going to just kind of mention what the murders, like when they happen, just for the simple fact that it's relevant.
What is that? What is that documentary I'm thinking of? It's like very famous about Amityville, and the guy in it is one of the. Is it the DeFeos that? Okay, anyway,
the DeFeos were the murdered family.
Okay, then it's not them. It's the ones that obviously because they're dead.
The Lutzes.
Yeah, it's like one of them that's in it, and he's talking. Okay, anyway.
Yeah. That's what I watched.
That's what you watched?
Okay, I don't know if it's the same one. There were a couple out there. I watched one called Amityville: The Haunting.
Okay.
And it was just on YouTube, I'm sure. I mean, obviously, but it was shot almost like a news story, but they called it a documentary, but whatever.
I'm going to stop talking and let you
No,
tell
please don't, because it's not that long. So, and everything, look, I had other articles and I just crossed them right now. I'm like, I don't need them. Wikipedia really came through for me.
Your back.
But I still made my own notes, even though I went to Wikipedia. But then Wikipedia also had their own bullets. So I'm like, oh, well, copy paste. But then I watched this like little, and I think it was like 46 minutes something, this documentary. It wasn't long at all. But I really feel like whoever went onto Wikipedia to add this information was sitting and watching the documentary, because a lot of the stuff went right in the same time.
Who are those people anyway, you know?
I don't know.
Add stuff on Wikipedia?
I mean, why are we not adding stuff to Wikipedia?
I have no knowledge to add.
Well, I mean, I've uncovered a few whoopsies on Wikipedia myself. It's not 100% accurate.
True.
So my sources are clearly Wikipedia and Amityville: The Haunting, the documentary. So this has not necessarily anything to do with the haunting, but it's still a really weird backstory for the family that later moved into the house. So on November 13th, 1974, Ronald DeFeo Jr., we'll call him DJ. I don't know why, because I don't think I mentioned his name again, but whatever.
And you just forgot Ronald.
Yeah.
RDJ.
RDJ.
Or just RD.
FDR. I don't know. I'm just running everything together. Anyway, this isn't funny.
Nope.
He shot and killed 6 members of his family.
It's horrible.
In their home at 112 Ocean Avenue in the suburban neighborhood of Amityville, which is on the south shore of Long Island.
Which means, doesn't the word amity mean, friendship?
Amiable means, loving.
What's
so
that?
probably.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Sounds, yes, fact. It means that. Friendville. I mean, how do you murder your whole family when you live in Friendville?
Yeah.
And anyways, I would just want to mention that because clearly if you move into a place where an entire family was murdered. Move into a house where a family was such a horrific murder. I don't think I could. No.
No. Not where a murder. If someone died naturally, okay.
Yeah.
But if someone was murdered in a home, even just one person, I don't know.
And I've actually watched a documentary about the murders. There was my first. Actually, you're welcome. And there was a surviving.
Kid. I don't think I realized that.
And they interviewed him quite a bit on there.
So that poor kid.
Yeah. I can't remember what the circumstance. I think he was there I don't remember.
Sad.
Anyways, again, not a true crime podcast, but I wanted to mention that because obviously it's a very horrific thing that happened in the house where all of this haunting took place, but also after the family that moved in started sharing their story publicly, then old RDJ started saying, well, there were spirits there, and they told me to. It's no, stop it. You're a murderer. Quit.
Just
you jerk.
Because he was probably a son, right?
Yes, he was a son.
I thought
and if you watch, there are various documentaries out there about him that I do believe he was very abused by it. But still,
not a reason.
You're an adult now. Go to therapy. And I am not victim blaming, but you don't. What did your siblings ever do to you?
No.
But you don't go murder the whole family.
If you murder your abuser, that's one thing.
That's one thing.
Yeah.
Yes. And then there was a lot.
Because they were children, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
He murdered the whole family pretty much.
Gross.
And then I think there was maybe a sister involved that they tried to say she was, he shot her but didn't kill her because they were in on it together. I don't know.
Oh.
But there were some things I watched that said prior to the murders, the father had some sort of exorcism stuff going on in the house. So I don't know how much truth there is to that because he's no longer alive. But they said they found a lot of relics, religious relics and things around that kind of. Maybe there was something going on, but I'm not buying that as his story for he murdered his whole family.
Because he claimed he was the devil told him to murder his family, something like that.
Something along those lines,
I thought so.
And it's no, that's not what happened. It was clearly premeditated. So anyways, after all that absolutely horrible stuff happened, again in November of 1974, in December of 1975, so just
a year later,
13 months later, George and Kathy Lutz bought the house for a bargain price of $80,000.
That's a sign.
Yeah. Don't ever buy a house that's really, and even in that's a lot of money now. So I'm sure it was a lot of money in the 70s, but this house was beautiful. I mean, a huge, gorgeous home.
In a fancy neighbor. It seems like a pretty ritzy neighborhood.
Yes. And they moved in with their 3 children, Daniel 9, Christopher 7, and Missy 5. And And when I was watching the documentary, George was talking about how, the house was $80,000 and I think they put $20,000 down on it and took out a $60,000 mortgage. They put like another $5,000 into repairs and things around the house.
They had money then for the 70s.
I mean, but that was all they had. That was their entire life savings. But they only stayed in the house 28 days and then just walked away. So
that tells you something.
Yeah, that's not even enough. A lot of people say that they lie about what happened and they were just making things up. But no, you don't. But after 28 days, be like, we're going to let the bank take our house. Like,
we're going to lose everything we own.
So I believe the Lutzes.
Yeah, and it's like, even after all this stuff happened, did they earn enough money from all of this haunting stuff to make up for that?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
There's no way they did.
Because I imagine.
I mean, they shared their story for like the book that came out, but even then, the author's going to come out and say, "I will give you X amount of money for your story" before it's even published, and that's that. So no, they did not.
Yeah, there's no way.
They certainly didn't make $20,000 off of this. Something I found kind of weird, though, was when they moved in, they also were able to purchase all of the furnishings in the home for an additional $400.
Ew,
yeah,
no.
I would not be okay with that. That's awful.
Yeah. Ooh, so then they lived on their furniture?
Yeah. Obviously not like the beds they were killed in, because they were all killed sleeping.
How did they all stay asleep?
I don't.
Okay.
Well, there's some questions about that too. There appears like some people had gotten out of bed. It's weird. But then there are a lot of reports say that too, almost like they were posed after their murders because they were all in the same position.
That gives me the creeps.
And it's like, no, nobody sleeps in the exact same position.
And nobody sleeps through a gunshot blast.
Definitely not.
Inside.
Multiple gunshot blasts.
Right.
Yeah. No. So the Lutzes had a friend that. And I mean, they had disclosed to the Lutzes what had happened there, but they're like, well, we need a house for our family. This is a good price, and we're not superstitious, so whatever.
It's fine, yeah.
But a friend did tell them, everything that's happened in there, you might want to just get it blessed. Like, probably a sage piece of advice. So this is when, in the documentary, they called him Father Ray. So I'm assuming that must be his first name. Because everything, like on Wikipedia, kept calling him Father Mancuso, which is just such a great priest name. And it was kind of confusing. I didn't really understand what his job was. It said he was a lawyer / judge for the Catholic court.
What? The Catholic court?
Yeah, I didn't know they had their own court. Like, bet you're busy these days. And a psychotherapist, which I'm like, what a weird combination. You go to school forever to become a lawyer. And then I imagine even more schooling to become a judge. Yeah, and then you got to do all sorts of crap to become a priest and a psychotherapist. Like, how do you have time to be blessing homes? So anyways.
How old? He's 100.
He's 1,000. Oh my God. And the guy that portrayed him in the documentary, because they did reenactments in the documentary. So
of course.
It was amazing. Like, he would do like these look behind you over the shoulder stairs. They were great.
Who's back there?
Yes, and it was so funny.
I love it.
So funny. And I don't know, he didn't look like a lawyer, judge, or a psychotherapist. The guy that they got to play him. But he did look like a priest. Yeah, only because he was wearing the outfit, whatever that's called.
Fashion.
Yeah. So on December 18th of 1975, he came to the house to carry out the rites while the family were still unpacking their belongings. Like, we haven't even gotten everything out of our boxes, but
it's awkward.
Priest here, everybody pause.
It's so awkward.
So he said when he began praying and flinging I don't think it said flinging.
But flinging is accurate.
One flings holy water. He heard a man's voice demand, "Get out." And he was like, oh, well, that's weird. And then also in the documentary, it said prior to that, like when he would go in certain rooms, he would just feel a really cold blast of air and there was no reason for it. It said because it wasn't cold outside. I'm like, it's December.
So it is.
In New York. So
and they don't got good
So let's not embellish our story. Right. But I think it was more like just very specific spots.
And a blast of air is kind of weird.
But Wikipedia failed to mention... So good thing I watched the documentary after it said that.
Oh, God.
It slapped him.
Get out, bitch.
Yes. I'm like, that's really funny, right?
Absolutely.
To get slapped. I mean, what kind of deal? Like, what?
My story is bitch slapping too.
Is this Liberace's ghost? What? I don't understand. Don't like scrape, like put like 3 claw marks down your back.
It's like a gentle slap.
Like, don't you badmouth my drapes? Slap. I don't know. That made no sense. I'm just like assuming all interior designers bitch slap people. So, but then something else I found not interesting, intriguing. Look at me. I'm a walking thesaurus. He didn't bother mentioning this to the family before leaving. That he heard the voice say "get out" or that he got slapped.
Why?
He called them later to tell. By
the way, I was thinking on the drive home. And maybe I should tell you this.
Okay.
Did he feel... Oh, no. That was me being him.
Oh! I thought you were telling me a story.
You're so cute. I could tell by your face. I was like, oh,
I'm like, oh, God, what happened? Because a lot of times we interrupt each other like, oh, God, we're going to tell you something.
No, that was me being Father Ray.
Oh, your Father Ray.
Ray, whatever.
Sorry. Oh, my God. You guys, I don't pick up on subtle anything.
Social cues.
You gotta bitch slap me in the face to get my attention. I just don't know.
Well, he just felt bad, I guess. He was driving home and he was feeling guilty. Like, ooh, maybe I should tell him.
Yeah.
I got slapped in the face.
I don't know if he was just maybe so freaked out. It was like, I gotta get out of here. I'm not. If I talk to them about it, then it might get angry and come after me.
But then be like, can you meet me outside in the driveway?
Don't be on the committee that goes around blessing houses.
Yeah, if you can't handle it.
You know?
Yeah, get out the kitchen.
Yeah, Ray, just go to your court and make judgments.
And psychoanalyze things.
And psychoanalyze everyone, yes.
Psychoanalyze yourself.
Yeah. And find out why you're so
scared of bitch slapping ghosts. Yeah. Although, can you imagine being bitch slapped by an invisible hand? You'd be like, where is it?
I can't imagine that happening with a real hand, let alone an invisible hand.
You never been bitch slapped? Me neither, but...
By whom?
Let's do it. Let's slap each other to see what it's like.
Tell each other how it feels and see if we would stick around and tell anyone.
Can you just imagine that you're like, ow, won't it stop? So awkward. Where is it going to come next?
Then your butt. Ow! Wet towel snap.
It's like
Then you're like, well, maybe I'm down for it. I don't know.
There we go. We got awkward. I knew it was coming.
Of course. And we're only 21 minutes in before the awkwardness.
My face hurts from laughing.
So you called them to tell them, because it happened in a specific room. He said it was in the second room.
This is for the
second floor room. Oh. It was actually where Mark and John DeFeo were shot. So great. God. And they were planning on turning that into Kathy's sewing room. So, well, Kathy, I hope you don't mind
I wouldn't
getting
put my fingers by needles.
No.
Slapped right out of your chair.
And well, I mean, I guess he had a right to be afraid because it said shortly after the visit to the house, he developed a high fever and blisters on his hands similar to stigmata.
What the?
So, okay. And first of all, that's not even what stigmata is. They're not blisters. They're actual holes all the way through your hands.
Jesus didn't get blisters.
Listen, Father Ray, get over yourself. You don't have the stigmata.
You got hand, foot, mouth.
Yes. You just need an antibiotic. Quit being so ignorant.
Infants get that disease. Get over it.
You're probably going to get the croup next.
I'm shouting.
The stigmatic.
Yes, what is a freaking hole?
Yeah. Have you ever seen that movie with Patricia Arquette? That's a great movie.
It's scary. Stigmata freaks me out.
Yeah.
Anything with bleeding Mother Mary statues, I'm down for and scared. I mean, I'm definitely scared.
Why do the statues always cry blood?
Because it's
in every
disturbing.
Movie. I don't understand.
If it's just crying tears, you're like, okay.
Yeah.
But you see blood, you're like, whoa. Anything bleeding from its eyes.
What is that show I was watching? I think it was on Netflix. Oh, Dairy Girls.
I've never seen that, but
Karen talked about it. Yes, and they were like, the girl, I don't know, they chased a dog into a church and it like peed to the on the second floor.
Really funny?
And it's pretty funny. I
need to watch it.
And
I need to finish it.
And it's set in Ireland, maybe?
Set in Londonderry, right?
Yeah, which is in Ireland.
I don't know where that is, actually.
And so they all have really cool
Irish accents.
But anyways, the dog peed and the pee dripped down on the statue. So they convinced a bunch of people it was a weeping statue. It was kind of funny because it got them out of their exams.
I love it. That sounds great.
I love it. So real quick, when I started the documentary, it gave a little bit of background of where the house is located. Okay. So I thought I would just throw that in a little bit before I start talking about the Lutz's experiences in the house. They say there were a lot of, none of these are documented, by the way, that it had once been a Native American burial ground, which, hello, we all know that's no good.
No.
Allegedly, there was a guy who was accused of witchcraft during the Salem witch trials, who fled from Salem and settled on that ground and continued to practice witchcraft once he settled there.
Fascinating.
This is documented. There was once a different house sitting on that property, and the owners moved. They had the entire house moved off the property before the home was built there.
That's interesting. I wonder if that person, that house is haunted.
Well, they tried saying they moved it just because they wanted to build a bigger house or something. I don't know. But that seems really weird.
That's a lot of work.
That's way a lot of work. Either you tear the house down or you just find a different piece of property.
Yeah.
And then there's also I don't know, I would call it a lake, a pond, I guess, on the property. And allegedly there were several drowning deaths in that water over, the years.
Over time.
Over the years.
Over the years.
That sounds like a song Whitney Houston would have recorded.
I drowned in a 1 foot pond.
Yes.
Deep, not wide. Okay.
But I did like that in the documentary they interviewed George and Kathy, who have since died. And poor Kathy is there with her emphysema and her oxygen mask on, telling the story with her awesome feathered hair. And they got divorced after all this, but they stayed on good terms. So I thought it was pretty cool that they were still willing to get together and talk about, what all had happened to them. I wrote on here.
It is literally the most famous haunting of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, can you think of one that's more famous?
No, not really.
I really can't.
And honestly, Ed and Lorraine weren't nearly as involved in it as I thought they were, but that's okay. They can't be the star of every event.
Even though the last podcast on the left, really hates them.
Yeah, do they? Shame on them.
I don't know.
Okay, so I'm now going to just talk about some of the things that the Lutzes experienced. Okay. And remember, they only stay there 28 days.
So, yeah, I mean,
So this stuff would be horrible stretched out over 28 million years. So for this much to happen over 28 days is
And I feel like
crazy.
that just really adds credibility to their story, though. Yeah. Why would you move in a place...
Go through all that.
It's too much.
Think about how awful
you got 3
moving
kids.
is.
You ain't got time. You got 3 kids.
No. And they even left all their stuff and ended up just having an auctioneer come in and auction off all their belongings.
I wish that auctioneer would talk. I wonder what his story is like.
Well, they actually did say, maybe, I don't remember if it was in this or in the documentary, that the auctioneer said when he went in to move all this stuff, he didn't experience anything. Okay. So some of the things that happened. George would wake up around 3:15 every morning and would go out to check the boathouse. Later, he would learn that that's the estimated time of the DeFeo killings was 3:15 a.m. And again, like a story you did recently, the house was plagued by swarms of flies despite it being the middle of winter. And you're on the East Coast, so think about how cold that is.
Super cold.
Flies are not normal.
No.
Kathy had very vivid nightmares about the murders. And later discovered the order in which they occurred and the rooms that they took place. So she was having these dreams even though she didn't know a lot of details about the murders, but then later found out that her dreams were incredibly accurate.
And how would she know that?
Yeah, she wouldn't, because it's not like anybody published, here's the order in which it went.
It's not like now.
No.
Where it would be super public.
All the Lutz children inexplicably began sleeping on their stomachs the same way that all the DeFeos were found.
That bothers me so bad.
Kathy, I don't know why this keeps popping up in every story we do, but Kathy would feel a sensation of being embraced
and that's the mom, right?
Force. Yeah. It's like, oh, stop it. I hate when anything...
While standing?
It didn't say. She just would feel a sensation of being embraced.
These rapey ghosts.
I know. Stop.
No.
Ugh.
Nope.
No.
Which is worse, being bitch slapped or being hugged?
I'd rather be slapped, honestly, than hugged.
At least you know its intent.
Who I am as a person.
You're like, what's your intention, hugging ghost?
Yeah.
Where are you going with this?
Yeah. What do you think this is going to lead to a second date? No, you got to buy me dinner first.
I need to freaking see your face.
I don't know if I'm attracted to you.
Oh, God, it's Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah. No.
Sorry.
Well, maybe.
Abe, you charmer.
You are.
Every episode we're going to
kind of have a crush on it now.
Be creepy about Abe.
I mean, it's our spiel.
Yeah.
George, actually, this is really weird. They went down into the basement and discovered a small hidden room about 4 feet by 5 feet behind some shelving in a basement. And on the documentary, Kathy talked about how there were these shelves down there and she wanted them moved. She didn't like where they were situated, and when they moved those, that's where they found that room. The walls were all painted red. The room did not show up on any of the blueprints for the house. It came to be known as the Red Room, and their dog Harry refused to go near it and would cower anytime he was anywhere in the area. And then it didn't say it in this, but in the documentary, George said it just had a really, really horrible odor about it. Even though the room was empty, there was nothing in there.
Smelled
weren't any dead animals.
Doesn't it seem occulty?
It does. Like, why is
ritualistic?
It hidden?
Yeah.
Why is it painted red?
Why?
No, I agree.
Very God. Red.
Don't point to the red room in the prayer closet.
The prayer closet has a red bathroom.
Perfect.
Oh, God, the bro cause. What are they doing?
And it was hidden behind some shelves when we came in. I don't understand.
They encourage us to use it every time we go ahead, go poop in there.
We're unwitting pawns in their whatever.
We love you, Chris and Mandy.
Cult.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
What a strange cult. You pee. You wash your hands, you walk out. That's day after day. So tedious.
Can I at least get some black Nikes?
And some of that Kool-Aid. No, Flavor Aid. It wasn't
Flavor Aid.
Kool-Aid.
It wasn't Kool-Aid, yeah.
There were cold spots and odors of old perfume and excrement. What a combo. While tending to the fire, George and Kathy saw the image of a demon with half his head blown out.
Oh,
and it was burned into the spot. Which, whatever. I can stare at this flame long enough and see things. So
I see a demon.
That's like when you see Jesus in your toast. I'm not real into that. But when I did watch the documentary, I think it's what's another word? Fascinating. I'm really going to try to avoid interesting.
No, you're fine.
That they're talking about the fire in the fireplace, because it said George would get these cold chills and could not shake them and was constantly lighting and stoking fires in the fireplaces. So just nonstop. It almost became
like obsessive
with him with the fires. Yeah.
I feel like in the movie too, they really portray that.
Yeah. I don't know. I focus on Ryan Reynolds' beautiful face.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
The Lutz's 5-year-old daughter, Missy, developed an imaginary friend named Jody. But it wasn't your average.
No, not quite.
Imaginary friend. It was a demonic pig-like creature with glowing red eyes.
And like what?
Like, Missy, why is its name Jody? That should be, I don't know.
And if you, oh God, even if you're a kid, you
Malachi or something, not
Malachi.
Jody. I don't know, Children of the Corn is all I can think of. Like, just something that sounds demonic. Not oh yeah, everybody knows that demon, Jody.
Or like,
what? No.
Well, I guess it wanted to give a name that maybe the little girl wouldn't be scared of. But like, are pigs a demonic thing? Like, I don't feel like I've ever heard. I don't understand the correlation there.
I don't either, because
is it just it's like a image that the demon maybe thought that Missy would be okay with?
I don't know. Maybe she really liked bacon. And in the documentary, it said that this demonic pig-like creature would whisper to Missy all the time.
That's
you
disgusting.
Will always live here.
Ew, what?
Yeah. So that's way creepy. Because what a strange thing to say.
Oh my God.
You know, and a 5-year-old's not going to make that up.
That bothers me.
In the early morning hours of Christmas Day, 1975, George looked up at the house after checking on the boathouse, because we know
what the F's in the boat?
He just would do that at 3:15 every morning. He would feel like there was like someone trespassing on their property or something going on. Maybe one of the kids had gone out and were possibly drowning.
Did the DeFeo guy like do something in the boathouse?
There's a lot of questions what all happened with. Okay. I don't know. Watch any documentaries on the DeFeo murders. He was weird. Like he went to a bar and stuff afterwards. So strange.
Yeah.
And when he was checking on the boathouse and walking back to the house, he saw Jody standing behind Missy at her bedroom window.
How freaking big is Jody?
So and then when he ran up to her room, she was asleep. But her rocking chair. Missy was asleep.
Missy was asleep in the
No, in the window. He saw Missy standing in the window with Jody
behind her. Okay,
but standing behind her.
But in real life, she was.
So he was like, "Oh my God, there's my daughter with a demonic pig with red eyes."
That pig had to be like 3 feet tall.
Yeah, I probably better run up there and see what's happening. But Missy was asleep in her bed, but her rocking chair next to her bed was just rocking back and forth.
No. Oh my God, no! Yeah. Pick that kid up. Take her in your bed.
Not okay.
I'm still concerned about how big this pig is.
Yeah, it's a big one. It's like if you can shoot that, you might want to have it taxidermy because that's pretty impressive.
I mean, for real.
Just sad. George would often wake up to the sound of the front door slamming. He'd race downstairs. The dog was sound asleep. No one was at the door. Nobody else in the house heard it.
He's seeing all kinds of things.
So yeah, it seems like not Josh.
Or Jody.
George. Yeah. So many J sounds. Was experiencing a lot of the things that were kind of making him seem unstable.
Yes. That's disturbing too if it can make you.
But he just seemed like crazy. Such a normal guy in the documentary. I believe him.
Yeah.
I'm going to believe George. What did he have to gain from lying about this?
Well, all it does is make him look crazy.
Right.
To people who don't believe.
He would hear what he described as a marching band tuning up.
What?
Yeah.
Tuning up?
Like, now, if he's hearing that, no one else is. I'd be like, okay, George.
If that's all.
You
need to get your hearing checked.
What's up? Or what sounded like a clock radio playing, but not quite on frequency. Anytime he would go downstairs to check it out, because he would always be upstairs and hear the sounds coming from downstairs, he'd go check it out and the noises would just stop completely. He realized later on that he actually bore a very strong resemblance to Ronald DeFeo Jr. And he also started frequenting the bar
where he went,
where he would go all the time. Without realizing that was a bar that he frequented all the time. So it's almost like he started developing a lot of the characteristics of
DeFeo.
Whatever his name is. Yeah, DeFeo Jr. RDJ. Yeah.
Ew.
When closing Missy's window, Missy would say, "Jody climbed out of it." So they go in her room because her window was open, and they go close it. She's like, "Oh, well, Jody climbed out of it."
I'm sorry, Jody's legs are like 5 inches long. She's just like,
Jody, let's be honest, Jody's tucking and rolling out that window. She's
being down what are those, where your water goes down.
Oh, guttering?
Yeah. Can you imagine that pig?
But she couldn't because they have hooves. She just like slides.
I'm imagining the pig, that pig from Toy Story. That's Jody. Okay, wow. Jody.
Or the pig from Babe.
Or Babe. Literally, that's Babe. The pig. You just said the pig from Babe.
Right?
Isn't it Babe?
I said Babe.
You said the pig from Babe.
Well, Babe, yeah. The pig Babe. Okay, the pig Babe. Sorry. From the movie Babe. Back off.
Sorry.
This is a really intense story, Whitney.
It is. I'm sorry. I'm back.
While in bed, Kathy would receive red welts on her chest caused by an unseen force and was levitated 2 feet in the air. What?
No, that's when you leave.
No. All these people getting levitated from their beds.
And you wake up and you're just like,
yeah.
Hi.
What?
Can I get down now?
Yeah, what do I do?
Well, I mean,
is there a button to push?
What would you do?
A safe word? What do I need to do to make this happen? Yeah, that's not okay.
Oh my God.
A green gelatin-like substance.
Did they hold on? Did they bring Missy in their room? Quit making Missy sleep.
No one ever says they do.
Quit making Missy sleep alone in her room.
Well, Missy's not scared. Missy's cool with Jody. But, I mean, her parents shouldn't be. Just Missy's 5. She doesn't know any better.
Missy's just like, I like Jody's red eyes. They're real pretty. We're like,
it's a pig and it can talk to me. It is, babe.
Great.
Actually, change its name.
Jody just jumps out the window. Yeah. When she hears my parents coming. That's really fine. Oh my God.
Nothing to see here. Move on. A green gelatin-like slime oozed from the walls in the hall and also from the keyhole of the playroom door in the attic. So that's not normal. Just saying.
It's slime jello.
A crucifix that hung in the living room revolved until it was completely upside down and gave off a sour smell. Yeah, so this isn't
defying gravity.
Yeah, this isn't a haunting. This is clearly demonic.
Yeah. Regular old ghosts really don't care to do all this.
Oh, this is craziness. First of all, I don't know. I don't know if this was in like the $400 furnishings they bought or not, but there was an over 4 foot high China lion ornament in the living room.
What? That's Jody. Well, that's bizarre.
Jody, a China lion.
China lion?
I guess that means like fine China, maybe? Or is it a lion from... Do they have their own lions
they
in
don't
China?
Have lions
I'm
in
so
China.
confused.
They have pandas. What the hell? That's the most bizarre furnishing.
George tripped over it and had bite marks on his...
George was like, whoa, didn't see that there.
On his ankles after it. So he didn't just trip over it, it bit him.
Oh my God.
Later, the lion would reappear in the living room after George had moved it back upstairs into the sewing room. But no one needs to be in the sewing room or moving anything into there. That's where the priest looked back over his shoulder very dramatically. They got slapped.
What?
And it's really funny.
He got bit by a China lion.
It's really funny in the documentary when he's getting slapped.
I can't.
By the way.
Ow!
He's like, oh. Because he's in the middle of... I don't know. But he's like in the middle of blessing. It's just, there's a lot of things happening simultaneously to old Father Ray.
Ow!
Yeah.
I like how you said that.
George would see Kathy just transform into a 90-year-old woman.
Oh, God. That's happening to Kyle before his very eyes every day.
With wild hair and a shrieking white face with a bunch of wrinkles and ugly lines and saliva dripping from a toothless mouth.
Oh, my God. That's very extreme.
And incredibly specific.
And insulting to elderly people.
And this was in the 70s, so she didn't have like the old age app. This was for real happening.
What? Oh. And why is it shrieking?
And why is saliva dripping from her toothless mouth?
Just shut your mouth, Kathy. Close her
Walk up to her, put your hand under her chin, and do Kathy a solid. George, come on.
Can you imagine? She's like, what? What? And he's like,
You're like really old and you're drooling.
Kathy.
Kathy, your teeth are suddenly gone. What?
And you have ugly lines. It's so insulting. Why are you silently shrieking?
Yeah.
Like, what does that mean?
Because I have all these lines in my face.
I need retinol.
Oh
my God.
Okay. Let's see. Misty would constantly sing while in her room, and then when she would step out of her room, she would quit singing, but then immediately resume it right where she had left off when she went back in the room. So I don't know if that's implying there's like something in there like, okay, let's sing. And then when she comes back, here's where we were. We're going to pick right back up where we left off.
It seems real weird.
Yeah, very weird. On one occasion, Kathy heard what sounded like a window being opened and closed through the sewing room door, even though she was sure no one was actually in there. So after all of these things happened, they were finally... And in the documentary, they even said something happened the night before they left the house.
And
but they won't talk about it because it was so awful. So if they're willing to share all these details, I can't even imagine what happened. But I could understand not being able to talk about it. No one wants to sit around and talk about their trauma to complete strangers. They should have gone to therapy. Maybe they did. I don't know.
Especially something so just unbelievable.
Yeah. So I guess at one point they tried to bless the house themselves then. Because they're like, well, I mean, what's it going to hurt?
I'm a judge and a lawyer and a psychoanalyst.
Yeah. So George held a crucifix in the living room, was reciting the Lord's Prayer, but while in there, he heard a chorus of voices saying, "Will you stop?"
Ew.
Yeah.
Please don't bless things yourself.
No,
Go to the professionals.
You're not qualified for that.
You're not qualified.
So I'm glad I just threw in how they left the house, and then I go back into while they're still living in the house.
And they're back.
This is how my mind works.
Back in time.
I thought I was at the end. Sorry, I didn't realize I still had 2 pages. Oh my God, am I ambling on? Do I need to stop? Do you need to cut me off?
No, it's fine. We're 46 minutes in, but it's okay.
So in mid-January, after them blessing the houses didn't go so well, they tried to call Father Ray back to get him to come in and help. But it's on the documentary, every time they would try calling him or he would try calling them back, there was so much static on the line, no one could hear.
So get in your car.
The other one.
Someone.
Well, finally, they were able to get a hold of him.
Okay, good.
And they decided to take some belongings after getting in touch with him, the Lutzes decided to take some belongings and stay at Kathy's mother's house in Deer Park, New York.
Oh, good.
Until they'd sorted out the problems with the house. They claimed that the phenomena followed them there.
Oh.
With the final say, and this in the book, that's where then some greenish black slime was coming up a staircase towards them.
What?
So finally at that point, they're like, okay, we're done.
What happens if it touches you?
Good question. I guess no one ever bothered figuring it out. I mean, that's
a
dry cleaning bill nobody wants to deal with, I'm sure.
Just eats
getting all that crap off of them.
Gross.
So anyways, they didn't. This says they removed all their possessions, but in the documentary, and I'm going to go with the documentary because they were actually on there talking. They said they just left all their possessions, hired an auctioneer, let the bank repossess the house, auctioned off all their belongings, only got $1,500. So, I mean, they really lost a lot.
Yeah.
And again, they will not talk about what happened. The only thing they retrieved from the house, they had like a hope chest that George's grandfather built, and they had all their kids' pictures and stuff in that. So that's the only item that they had retrieved from the house.
Wow.
So then Kathy passed away from emphysema in 2004. George passed away in 2006 of heart disease. And even though they had divorced at that point, they still stayed on good terms.
That's good. Well, when you experience something like that with somebody.
Yes. So then after they moved out, that's when all of these news outlets started showing up at the house. All the paranormal investigators came out of the woodwork and wanted to investigate the house. So I won't go into all of those. But in March of 1976, Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Is that after?
Yes, this is it. Because they moved out in January of 1976. So then, what would that be? Like a couple months later, they went and they took a crew from a local television station with them to just film their investigation. And during the course of the investigation, one of the photographers used an infrared time-lapse lens to capture some photos. So I know you've seen the picture of the boy peeking around the corner. And here's the thing with that picture. That is real. Either they captured one of the most impressive spirits on film of all time, or there was an actual boy with them at the place. There's
one or the other.
It's not one of those where you look at it and like, oh, that kind of looks like it. No, there is a child
Yes. With creepy eyes.
And then they put it side by side with a photo of one of the DeFeo boys that was murdered. And he does... I mean, it's hard to tell, though, because you can't... He's peeking around a corner from a dark room. You can't really make out his features. It's very clearly a young boy.
Yes.
And you can see his hair. You can see the haircut's similar. He appears to be like the same size as the
glowing
little
eyes.
Boy. Yeah. So
that's sad if it's that little boy.
So they call it a demonic boy with the glowing eyes standing at the foot of the staircase. I'm like, you don't know that that's a demonic.
Unless
boy,
it's a demon taking the...
Which could be.
Like
which we know they do sometimes. They take over. Yeah, they trick people into thinking that there's something that you're going to...
Hello, Annabelle.
Yeah, give them sympathy and invite them.
And a child
to be
is the perfect thing to do.
But I don't care.
It's disturbing.
I am not backing down from this. That photo is real. That happened. And I watched an interview with Lorraine. She was in had a press conference when The Conjuring came out, which wasn't too long before she passed away. And she said, I watched her say this at the press conference, that Amityville house was the one place that they'd investigated she would never step foot in again. So... And her and Ed got a lot of crap from people saying, oh, you're just, you're embellishing, you're making up stuff, you're just trying to get attention. But you and I both don't believe that's at all what Ed and Lorraine are about.
No.
And they weren't. That really wasn't what they were about. But anyways, the book, The Amityville Horror, came out. And then obviously a movie was made. And then it was remade again in the 2000s. So... George Lutz, though, even said he was frustrated with the movie adaptations. Obviously, he didn't live long enough, I don't think, to see the Ryan Reynolds one. I think that came out after 2006. But he did see the one that came out in 1979.
That wasn't very long after.
That says there was a 2005 remake. Is that the one with Ryan Reynolds? Maybe it is.
Maybe.
But anyways, George Lutz hated the movies because he said they embellished so many of the events that... Obviously, those couldn't have all been real, so then he feels like that made people, think that they were lying about the things that happened to them. So that was really upsetting. The house still exists. Mm-hmm. It's been renovated.
So it doesn't look like what we imagined.
Right. It almost looks more...
I think they took away the windows
colonial-ish.
or something.
I think it's a different color even now. But no one who's lived in there since says that they've experienced anything. In May 2010, it was placed on the market for an asking price of $1.5 million, and it was eventually sold for $950,000. So, great. Thanks for taking all the Lutz's life savings and money, and now it's selling for close to $1 million.
Can you imagine? There is no way I would buy that house.
So that was my story of
it's great, Amy.
The Amityville case.
Yeah, what a good one.
Thanks.
It's a good one. Okay. It's my turn.
I'm ready.
All right. I am doing the case of the Bell Witch.
Yeah.
I have so many notes. And
if you need more...
Oh, shut up.
No, I was going to do this one on our Halloween episode. I still have my notes in here. So that's really
okay,
funny.
Great. So
I don't even know much. I did so little research. It was going to be like a prayer from the tail, or not? No, what did we call that? Tail from the prayer, not a prayer from the tail closet. What is the tail closet, and how do I get a membership?
Nobody even knows, right? Okay, so this story really just goes off the freaking rails. Yeah. Really fast. So
it does.
Doing the Bell Witch.
Because it's crazy.
It's taking place in the 1800s. It's magical. My sources today are Wikipedia and bellwitch.org.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. So the haunting began in 1817 in Robertson County, Tennessee. John Bell was the patriarch of the family, and he witnessed a dog-like apparition while he was outside in his cornfield. And it says that it had a dog body and a rabbit head. Which I'm sorry.
What a hybrid.
That's not scary.
No, because a rabbit head's so little. Unless it was
cute.
like a Chihuahua dog
and like
body.
Big giant ears. I mean, it's ridiculous. So he shot at the dog rabbit, but it disappeared. And then his son Drew saw a gigantic bird that was perched on a fence that flew off. Also, so John and his wife, they had 3 kids, Betsy, Richard, and Joel. Although this says Drew, so I don't know what his kids' names are.
They had 3 kids.
They had children. And then his daughter Betsy also saw a girl in a green dress swinging from the limb of an oak tree on the property. So those are like the big things that started this, where they're like, okay, something is going on. So when they say they saw a girl swinging from a limb, I'm not sure if that means she was like hanging or if she was swinging by her arms,
like for fun. Or are you swinging by death or swinging for fun? There's big difference.
There are 2 different kinds of swinging. Can you please say what is going on? So then, obviously, this is the 1800s, so they had slaves, and we're talking about the South here. And so one of the slaves of the family, his name was Dean, he would reportedly, he would report being followed by this big black dog a lot, too. So all these things are really just weird, right? So this is how it all starts. Soon, though, these creepy, weird things started moving from the outside to the inside of their house. So members of the Bell family heard knocking on the doors and walls. They would begin hearing gnawing on the beds, like on their bedposts and stuff. And one thing I read said that the kids thought they were just rats. I'm like,
oh, no biggie.
What? Just rats gnawing on your bed.
Or they're like, Mom and Dad got us a puppy.
Right.
Because I remember when my dog was a puppy, it would chew on anything wood. And I'm like, I need all my windowsills.
I know. So can you imagine just lying in your bed and one night it just like clunk and you like one of your...
And to say, oh, it's just rats, that's not reassuring.
No, that's not better.
No. I feel like, is there a chance my blanket's touching the floor? Can it
is it going to claw up? Yeah.
No.
So they would hear gnawing on beds. They would hear invisible dogs fighting. So they just hear like, and then there's nothing. And they would hear chains dragging along the floor. Just like, it's weird.
Yeah.
They would also hear faint voices, like from a week-old woman singing, is what it said.
How do you know she's...
I've been working on the rain. Why am I singing that
Deep
song?
breath. I am so weak.
I'm weak. Okay, wow. So then John, the dad, he began experiencing paralysis of the mouth, which I was like, what the hell does that mean?
Is that why it's called Bell's palsy?
Maybe.
Probably not, but maybe.
Twitching, trouble swallowing, that went on for a year. Because that's when,
like, you get paralysis of a whole side of your face. My son had that.
So, but... That's not, they don't involve twitching, right? I don't know.
Well, no, because he was it's complete paralysis.
Yeah, so I don't know. They also would hear a beating sound on the side of their house. All this stuff is just like, what?
Yeah.
Let's see here. So it began to grow in intensity. The sheets would be pulled from the bed while the children were sleeping.
No. I don't know why spirits, entities, demons, you don't pull. That's no crossing the line.
Nope, it's too far. It's too far.
Do you know how much effort I put into keeping my feet under those blankets, even when I'm really hot?
I know. Do you know sheets are the only thing protecting me from demon possession? That's it. That's all I got.
Murderers or anything.
Or rats gnawing on my bed.
Kids coming to tell me they're hungry and want me to cook them something. Like, no. My sheets are my protective shield.
So, not in the Bell house. Their hair would also be pulled. It would Amy just went to the bathroom.
Blow my nose.
It's winter, man. Their hair would be pulled and they would get scratched. And this all had an emphasis on poor Betsy. So she was slapped. Ow!
Her and Father Ray should compare notes.
There should be like a
slap off.
A slap therapy session. What am I trying to say?
I'm turning it into a competition. Oh yeah, you call that a slap? Watch this.
You call that getting slapped? Because you're being slapped by invisible things. So she'd also get pinched. She would get welts and handprints on her face, and constantly it would feel like something was sticking her with pins.
Oh.
Which is mean as hell.
That is mean. Don't.
So again, this is the 1800s. So the dad's like telling everyone to keep it a secret because they don't want to, they don't want everyone to think they're crazy.
Or be accused of being witches.
Right. And that's why this is called the Bell Witch. But I mean, like, nothing about this is a witch. It's a poltergeist.
Because back in those days, everything was a witch.
Right. So you hear Bell
and then
Witch.
they would tie you to a stake and burn you.
Right.
Which is insane.
So this is my favorite part of this whole story. Are you ready?
Okay. I don't know. Am I?
So they didn't know what to do. So they turned to a family friend, James Johnston.
I mean, he's world-renowned for his abilities to...
Jamie is clearly a vampire. How old is he?
Oh, you're being slapped? I got a remedy for that.
What? So what's his remedy?
I don't know. No. I'll have to have him share his secrets.
I just wrote, so they called James Johnston for help. LOL. This is all I wrote in my notes here. So James and his wife, Amy, stayed at their house. And they woke up in the middle of the night by the same type of stuff that was happening to the other people. So their covers were being removed, they were being bitch slapped, all that stuff. So then the apparition began to speak out loud. It was loud and unmistakable. So I guess they were kind of having like a seance. I don't know. So all this stuff gets, again, this is the 1800s. So all of this information has been like written down in someone's diary and then God only knows.
Really sloppily written.
Yes. So this is all legend. Like, let's be clear.
But listen, if I could time travel,
yes,
I would tell people back in those days, please improve your handwriting.
Yes.
This is the only records we have.
Right.
Typewriters, computers, none of these things exist. Here's
how you can get ink and a pen so you're not dipping this feather.
Yeah. I couldn't explain to anyone how to put ink in a pen. Who are we kidding?
No, I mean,
I'd be the worst time traveler ever.
We just take a whole bunch of pens. We just have bags of pens. Everyone's like, why are you...
Like, I'm in the future.
Not penicillin or like...
And I would share this with you.
This is a Bic.
Yes.
Everyone's like, wow. What's that thing on... Okay, it was a cell phone joke, but I lost it. Okay, so the voice started said, I am a spirit. I don't know, I imagine this is how it talks. I was once very happy, but have been disturbed. Me too. Me too, Bell Witch.
Ghosts that visit 70s or Scourge.
I once had all the free time, and now I'm a parent. I mean, like, what? How dramatic.
Yes,
okay.
Very.
So the spirit just talked to them all the time. It had varying reasons for why it had appeared, saying that it told them it was tied to a local Native American burial mound located on the property. I like how it's like.
It's very specific.
It really is.
Here's who I am. Here's why I'm here.
Yes.
Oh, then tell me why you keep slapping me. Right. Let's get some real answers,
please. Stop slapping me. So the spirit would carry on intelligent conversations with the Bell family. It called itself Kate or Old Kate Bats.
What? Bats?
B-A-T-T-S.
Oh, I thought you meant like bats, like nocturnal creatures. Like, what? Did she raise bats? Do people do that? Okay. Can they be kept in captivity?
Old Kate with the bats. Oh, God. Oh, my God. So, yeah, it was like just talking in full sentences, carrying on intelligent conversations.
Which ghosts can't do. Okay? You are not dealing with a ghost. Stop talking back to it.
Right.
Run away.
So, Jamie Johnston was still there, kind of doing his thing.
On the case. Hard at work.
Jamie
Johnston is the Mariska Hargitay of the 1800s.
I knew there was something about you.
He's so jealous of her hair, though. It's so beautiful.
I'm trying to get... Oh, God. Okay. So this is interesting, but I honestly don't know how they know this happened because, again, this is the 1800s. They don't have cell phones or phones at all. Do they have phones? I don't know.
No.
Repeat. Maybe. Do they have rotary?
Oh, like those ones where you like...
Hello?
You put it to your ear and you yell. And there's like... Nellie Olson is at the thing connecting plugging you and listening to your conversations.
The 1800s. No way, right? No way.
Yeah, I think it was.
Okay. God dang it.
Because
Trevor,
help. Alexander Graham Bell.
Alexander Graham Bell?
Oh, baby, he's behind all this.
Maybe so
Alexander, you trickster.
You guy. So the Bell Witch repeated word for word 2 sermons that were given 13 miles apart at the same time. So the thing with the Bell Witch also is that, like, it was able to tell them things that were happening in other places that it couldn't possibly have known. So the Bell Witch was also well acquainted with the Bible and enjoyed religious arguments, it said. Like, what is that?
Great.
What does that mean?
Well, then she should go hang out at Hardee's on the weekends and get into it with those old guys, because they just love to have arguments about things like that. But I always feel like
anything demonic, like, obviously knows about the Bible.
Well, clearly. The devil was an angel once.
Truth. So the Bell Witch also shared gossip about activities in other households. And what it seemed like it would be gossiping with someone, and then it would leave for moments to visit other homes after an inquiry. So I could be like, hey, Bell Witch, what's going on in Jamie and Amy's house? And then it'd be like, I'll be right back. And then go to their house and then come back and, like, tell you information, which is weird.
Well, that would be, I'm sorry for them if they came to my house. It's like... The dog is crying to go out to potty again. Amy's just complaining about how no one will match the socks. It's really
real depressing. So, John Johnston, son of James, decided he was going to test the entity. So he came up with a test. This is repetitive, sorry. He asked the witch a question that nobody outside his family should have been able to answer. And the witch gave an answer. Again, repetitive.
A correct answer or just a answer? Or an answer?
So the question that John Johnston asked was, what does my grandma say to her slaves when she thinks they've done something wrong? Again, this is 1817. Gross.
Yeah, that sounds...
Yeah. And then the
terrible.
answer that the witch gave with an accent, because I think James was British, maybe. Hold on. Next page.
God.
Yep. James was British. Jamie,
if only.
Quit lying about your quit lying about your heritage.
You've hidden your accent for so long. Well done.
You go home.
Way to get into character.
Jamie's like, okay, Amy. You're like, what the? My God, who are you? So with an accent, the Bell Witch said, hut, hut, tut, what has happened now? Which apparently is what the grandma would say. I mean, whatever. So.
Well, I'm working for no money. That's what's happened now, right. Grandma.
Bitch.
Hut, tut yourself, your happy ass on out of this room. Like, for real. Like, who thought slavery was okay?
No, I know.
It's so...
Rich white people, you know?
Yeah, hut, hut, hut.
Hut,
that's
tut,
what you say when
ass.
you hike a football? I don't know nothing about sports, but I think that's a thing.
Hut, tut, tut.
Hut, tut, tut. Says Tom Brady. Hi. I don't know anybody, and I only know him because he's married to Giselle.
Marshall Falk? That's such an old, okay.
Oh, Marshall Mathers?
Okay, so Oh, never mind.
I'm just blowing my nose right by the microphone.
Okay, never mind. John Johnston was not British. I made all that up. The next guy's British. Sorry,
Darn it. Suddenly it was interesting.
And Jamie is boring again. Sorry.
That's all you had going for you.
So obviously the Bell Witch was the talk of the town. So as much as they wanted to keep it private, it really wasn't. Everyone kind of figured out what was going on.
Well, yeah, because it's going into everybody's houses like, hey, there's probably telling all their dirt, too.
Probably. Yeah, what?
Did you know James Johnston vapes?
I love how that's Jamie's biggest secret. Did you know he vapes? Ew.
In public, so it's really not even a secret, but that's all I got.
Did you know? I got nothing else. Okay, so all these people are stopping by and want to know. I don't know why I clapped.
They want all the hot gossip. It's basically the Real Housewives.
It is. This thing is so
The Bell Witch was Bethany Frankel.
Basically.
Spoiler alert.
And the Bell Witch made skinny martinis.
Yes.
Okay, terrible joke. So a guy from England, not Jamie Johnston, stopped by to visit and offered to investigate. I don't know what his credentials were or why he felt like he had any right investigating, but whatever.
Well, that British accent probably just let him do everyone.
And
well, actually, in those days, wouldn't they be distrusting of British people? Like, right? Isn't that not long after they, like...
No, this...
I don't know.
The Civil War hadn't happened yet.
No, when they...
wait.
No, when America was founded.
The American Revolution.
Yeah. Never mind. It's not... No, yes. Why do I...
Why? Every time, Amy. Every time. You're asking me questions about...
But why do I even bring it up? I know we have no answers.
Well, Amy, the Boston Tea Party happened... Freaking no. This is basically a really bad episode of Drunk History where we're sober and just still dumb.
And have zero facts, right? Even the people on Drunk History.
And there's no fun reenactment.
No.
With Derek Waters. I was in Walters.
Or a celebrity. Sorry, it's just
Kristen Bell or Jason Segel.
Whatever. We're something. We have a troll.
We did. That one guy wearing nuts and bolts to our necklace. Okay.
Troll yourself.
Yeah.
And your fashion choices. For real.
So, the guy from England, back to him. The witch began to mimic the voices of his English parents, which is creepy, right?
Yeah.
Can you imagine? So, you're at this house, it's haunted, and then this thing starts talking to you and talking as your parents, which is creepy.
Yeah, that's creepy. So, if your parents are dead.
I think they were alive.
Oh.
So
it's still creepy.
Yeah. Especially when you're in America and your parents are in England. So he stayed overnight and he kept hearing the witch talk as his parents all night. He's like, freaking hey! Joey, did you make your bed? Let me get an accent.
Wear a sweater.
Did you make your bed? You better go to the loo before you go to bed, Joey.
Except loos don't exist in this time period. Pee in that little bowl under the bed, right? Yeah. Isn't that what they did?
Oh, that's terrible.
Or go to the outhouse, little Jojo.
Imagine peeing in a bowl. Okay. So the next day he's like, goodbye.
It's called a bedpan.
Oh.
That's it.
That makes sense.
I had an epiphany. Look! Yes! I retrieved a word.
Bedpan.
Accurately.
So the next morning, he's like, I'm out. He left and he went back to England. So then, like 3 months later, he arrived in England. I don't know. It's such a really long, painful travel.
You have to ride a boat that's only powered by wind.
By your feet. And everyone's pedaling so hard. God, my legs hurt.
But when you get there, your calf muscles are amazing.
You haven't eaten, so you're very emaciated.
Emaciated, not emaciated. Can you emancipate some people while you're over here, though, please? Do us a solid, Joe.
You're a free person. God. Okay, I have no words. My words don't work. Okay. So he went back to England, where after talking to his parents, he learned that the witch was mimicking his voice to his parents.
Man, she gets around.
Omnipotent.
Didn't take her 3 months, though, did it? So maybe she's on to something.
Bitch don't need a boat. No. So the witch seemed to favor John Bell's wife, Lucy. So even calling her the most perfect woman to walk the earth, which is such an awkward compliment from a ghost.
Yes.
You're like, thanks? Get off,
unless you're Kanye, then you're like, yes, I am.
Kanye just calls himself that. So the witch would sing to Lucy. It would give her fresh fruit. That's what it is.
You are so beautiful.
Here's
some
bananas. Where did you get it from? You're in Tennessee. You maybe got a pear tree outside.
And you don't have a physical body. Like, where are you going? How are you getting the fruit? And how are you giving it to her?
And did Lucy eat fruit from a ghost?
Is this like the chocolate boot from Annabelle? Is the fruit just appearing? I don't understand.
And there's no way I'm eating fruit from a ghost.
No.
Anyway.
And what a weird gift from an admirer.
And thank God I don't live in a time where getting fresh fruit was the best gift you could receive.
Right. It's not like edible arrangements.
It's not like Ghirardelli chocolate. No. I'd be like, oh, freaking pear, great. Yeah. Plum, woo. So the witch hated John, though. Told him that she intended to kill him. That's all I know about that.
Nice.
Moving on.
He's not important.
So word was leaking. I wrote this very late last night. Leaking. It was just leaking and leaking. So dumb. Well, mine is more, like, I'm not taking this seriously at all. But it is, it is kind of creepy if you really read this seriously. I'm just ridiculous. Okay. And people were taking an interest. Exclamation point. Okay. So it got all the way to Nashville, where future President Andrew Jackson, future president, I wrote again, then current Major General, took an interest.
Oh,
so
in Nashville.
Andrew Jackson, yeah, he visited in 1819. He wanted to see what was going on. He showed up with a bunch of guys, horses, and wagons. So, like, legit, him and his crew rolled up in there. But as they got closer to the property, the horses were not having it. They were like, nope, not going any closer. Well, sorry,
smart
we're done
horses.
Here.
Pretty sad day when the horses are smarter than the people who are in charge of, like, winning wars.
Right. So at that point, so the horses aren't moving forward anymore. Jackson proclaims, by the eternal, boys, that must be the Bell Witch. I don't understand how people talk in the 1800s. Like, I don't understand what that sentence even means. By the eternal, boys. What? I don't know what that means. Then the Bell Witch has such a sense of humor. Then a female voice, just an omnipresent voice.
Outside.
Yes, outside, told them they could come on, but she'd be seeing them later.
Oh, ooh.
She's like, come on, boys, but I'll see you later.
Bring it on.
That's
ominous. I got you.
Funny to say omnipotent.
Hey, for once, I'm not butchering the words, because usually I have none of the words.
Oh my God.
Or I use words incredibly incorrectly.
Yes.
Like, no, that doesn't mean that.
My notes are, oh my God. So one of the guys in Jackson's posse was basically Zach Bagans. Okay. Because he said he was a witch hunter.
There's one in every group.
Yeah, he was a witch hunter. Okay. Sure you are. And the reason nothing was showing itself was because it was scared of him and his silver bullets.
Oh, God. Really?
That's clearly one of Zach Bagans' ancestors.
Yeah,
you know it. Like,
for sure.
Zach Bagans, yo, get on Ancestry.com. Yeah. Find out. Did I just say yo? I just like totally. I'm being possessed by Zach.
Or do a 23andMe.
Yes.
And you're going to come back as, oh, you're related to this guy.
Yeah.
For sure.
So immediately after he says that, it's scared of me and my silver bullets, he begins convulsing.
Well, he had it coming.
Saying that he's being stuck with pins and beaten. The stuck by pins thing.
Yeah. Ouch. What do you think about it, though? Can you think of anything? Like, just getting a bunch of flu shots all over your body.
So he's being stuck by pins and beaten, and then something literally kicks him in the ass and out the door. Because I guess they're inside at that point. Well, so it kicks him in the ass out the door.
Quit being so cocky.
Then the voice... for him. Right. Then the voice announced another fraud in the group, and that this man would be outed and tortured too. So it's very...
Oh, great. Then everybody in the room's like, oh, God, is it me? Who are they talking about? What?
Attention! There is another fraud in this group. What is... Okay. So then Jackson's clan really wanted to leave at that point, but he's all like, no, I want to know who the other fraud is. Because he's no dummy.
Now he's there for intel.
Right. He knows what's up. Him and the Bell Witch are in cahoots. So everyone goes to bed. And we really don't know what happened next, but the next morning they're spotted heading back to Nashville, so it didn't end well. They were like, okay, bye. So the haunting just keeps continuing. Betsy finds a guy Betsy's one of the daughters, that she really wants to marry, and his name's Joshua Gardner. And everyone's cool with it except for the Bell Witch. Like, we have to ask for her blessing, I wrote. What?
But Betsy's not the one the witch was obsessed with, right?
That was Lucy. Betsy was the one that she used to slap.
So Isabel was just jealous?
Yes. Oh. Also, while reading this, we learned, so that's Joshua Gardner. They're like the same age. But in one of the articles I was reading, it talked about how Betsy had this teacher who was 11 years older than her, who was obsessed with her and like really told her that he wanted to marry her when she came of age, which like, that's disgusting.
Was his name Ichabod Crane?
His name was Richard Powell.
Oh, it kind of sounds like the Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
It is. It's
Ichabod
really gross.
Wants to get Katrina.
So, anyway, Betsy really wants to marry Joshua, but the Bell Witch tells Betsy not to marry him. Like, Bell Witch, mind your business. Yeah. She's still here. I don't know how many years later this is.
Shut up and go find your fruit.
Right. So Betsy and John couldn't go anywhere without the entity bothering them relentlessly. So, like, anywhere they were, it talked about, like, how they'd try to go on dates or, like, you know, kind of maybe mess around.
Third wheel. Go mess get around. Your own life. Like, not on my watch, you two.
Oh, my God. So finally, Betsy's done with it, and so she breaks off the engagement, and it stopped those types of disturbances almost immediately, but it continued to hate the dad, John Bell.
Well, I mean...
Freaking John. Where am I? Okay, still going. So by fall of 1820, 3 years later, John's health, the dad, is so bad that he is confined to his home. The witch would slap him and take off his shoes when he tried to walk. I don't even understand how that happens. But it's just cruel. He's like just trying to walk to the bedpan and she's taking off his shoes.
That's why I trip so much. Like I'm walking through Walmart and I start to fall. It's because the Bell Witch is taking my shoes off.
So mean. And then a shrill voice would be heard over the entire farm cursing, "Oh, Jack Bell!
I'll get you yet!"
Wouldn't you just stop wearing shoes?
Yeah, or get some slip-ons. You can just kick them off. It's Crocs. Once again, we're going to bring Crocs back.
Crocs save the day. So, and on December 19th, 1820, John just slipped into a coma and died. The next day, I guess when he was found, poison was also found in the cupboard, which when it was found, the Bell Witch spoke up and said, "I gave old Jack a big old dose of that last night, which fixed him." She's mean.
She is mean. And I don't understand how she can just talk all the time and everyone's just fine with it.
At John's funeral, the entity was heard laughing and singing. It didn't stop singing until the last person left the graveyard. Some of this, so it's like, really?
Yeah.
That's really extreme. Although, if this isn't true, whoever wrote this story
is brilliant.
Is brilliant. After John's death, things settled down. But then it came back in April of 1821 to visit Lucy, the wife, the widow. Lucy. And then it just came and kind of chatted with her and said that it would return in 7 years. So 7 years later, in 1828, it did return, and it mostly wanted to talk to John Bell Jr. It discussed a few things with John. 1, the origin of life. Number 2.
Well, that's deep.
Number 2, civilizations. I guess all of them. Number 3.
Poor John Jr.'s like,
Can I go to bed?
Yeah, I don't really want it. I don't care.
Can we talk about Pratt Daddy crystals? That's really... Number 3, Christianity. Number 4, the need for a mass spiritual reawakening. What? And it also predicted the American Civil War.
Oh, wow.
Weird, right? So it stayed and just chatted with John Bell Jr. for 3 weeks and promised to visit.
He's like, my ears are bleeding. Can you shut up?
Okay, yeah. All right. And then it promised to visit his closest direct descendant in 107 years.
He's like, good, go bother them. I don't care.
Just go.
Whatever.
May God bless your soul, descendants. Oh, my God. So, 107 years later, in 1937, the closest relative of the Bell family was living in Nashville. And he wrote that person, I don't know their name.
I think he wrote
he wrote a book.
A really famous country song. I think Randall Lottery.
And that person was
Blake Shelton.
Save a horse, right? Nope, that's Big and Rich. Okay. So that guy wrote a book about the Bell Witch, but nothing's ever said that he was visited by the Bell Witch. So womp womp.
Liar, pants on fire.
So in 1894, a man named Martin V. Ingram wrote a book called Authenticated History of the Bell Witch, which is where a lot of this information came from. So maybe this guy, Martin V. Ingram, maybe he made all this up. I don't know, but it's fascinating nonetheless.
Yes.
So truth or legend? We'll never know. Wow. The end. No. This story was also the basis for the Blair Witch haunting? Witch Project.
Oh my God.
And An American Haunting. I cannot remember what that movie is for the life of me.
Yeah. I know I've seen it.
Yeah.
I think. I'm sure I have. Anything with the title haunting in the title, right. I've seen.
It was also, this whole story gave whoever wrote in the movie, whoever wrote Poltergeist, I don't know. But a lot of this was the inspiration for the Native American burial part of Poltergeist. So one last thing is the Bell Witch Cave. So if you ever are driving through Tennessee, I've actually seen a sign for this. The Bell Witch Cave is a place you can visit in Tennessee. So the Bell Witch Cave is on the property that the Bell family owned. And it's still there. I've said that 3 times now. And Betsy and her friends would go exploring it a lot of times. And so one time they were exploring it and a kid got stuck. And then they heard a voice cry out, "Don't worry, I'll get him." The Bell Witch just coming to the rescue. Like, what?
I mean, thanks,
and
I guess.
Right. And a boy felt hands grab his feet and pull him out. And then the witch, invisible, then began to lecture the children on reckless cave exploring.
God, I get it. Okay.
She's the nagging.
Well, she should have showed up to the Mark Twain caves. Remember the kids that fell down there and died?
So that is the story of the nagging Bell Witch. So bizarre. Right?
Please don't. That's the worst kind of like haunting, whatever you want to call it, ever.
Oh my God.
And to where it just becomes a normal part of your life. Like she's just talking and bringing you
like,
fruit.
Shut
and you're
up.
Like, okay.
I'm watching a movie. And she just keeps telling you the ending. And did you know there's going to be an American Civil War? Oh, yeah, I've heard. Great. You're
and
so
just hit pause because I want to talk about the origin of the human species. God.
Who are you, Bell Witch?
Yeah, no wonder you won't leave. Clearly no one wants to spend their time, spend their time with you.
Friends.
You friggin' hag. Jeez.
Okay, great. Anyway.
Okay.
All right. So, thank you for listening.
Yeah, this was a
to
long
that
one.
shit
Sorry.
show. Oh, God.
It is what it is.
If you have any fun stories you'd like to share with us, please email us on thehaunt@gmail.com, on thehaunt.com. We have a contact us thing.
You can actually get to us from that now.
Yes, you can.
We love reading your messages on social media.
It's so fun.
It is.
And the funny memes. Thanks, Nicole.
Yes.
That one cracked us up.
That was
love
hilarious.
That. Zach Bagans.
What are you
never
doing?
Gets old. What are you doing? Please rate, review, subscribe. We appreciate it so much.
Yeah.
And we love you.
Yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
If you are in America and celebrate Thanksgiving or wherever else, I'm dumb. I'm sorry.
At least enjoy the day off.
Happy holidays.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know.
All right,
okay. Hit stop.
Okay, stop. We're stopping.